The story begins with the protagonist Kim Kaibong, who was working at his part-time job. He's not very happy with his daily routine. He then received a message from his mother asking him to come and visit her and also to bring some fried chicken. Kaibong promised to get her some chicken. But suddenly he heard a loud noise outside. When he went out to look, he saw monsters destroying the city. He tried to run away, but he fell down. He thought he tripped, but then he noticed that his legs were no longer attached to his body. He then saw a monster behind him. And he assumed that he was attacked. As he lost consciousness, he saw a message pop up that read, activating the Human Awakening program and initiating awakening test. After losing consciousness, Kim Kaibong found himself in a room and was surprised to see that his injuries were gone. A message appeared, greeting him and welcoming him to the awakening area. He realized that the place he was in resembled a computer program. Soon after, another message popped up, initiating the awakening test. Suddenly, a monster appeared. And the system gave him a mission to attack the test monster. Kim Kaibong became frustrated as he found the quest to be impossible. The monster attacked him and killed him. A message appeared stating that he failed the awakening quest and his body would be regenerated. After his body was regenerated, he was disgusted to see his previous corpse and threw up. When the monster appeared again, he panicked and tried to run, but it killed him once more. He respawned, confused and frustrated about how to defeat the monster. The system explained that the test monster was a transcendent existence and was impossible to kill according to the program. Kaibong asked who was communicating with him, where he was, and why he was brought there. The system replied that he is currently in the awakening test area. A specially designed area meant to be fair for testing purposes. The system explained that humans have the potential for awakening, and once the player awakens their abilities and lands a hit on the test monster, the test will end and they will be sent back to reality. The system also reassured the player that there was no need to worry about dying during the test, as his body would be regenerated no matter how many times he died. As Kaibong surveyed the corpses surrounding him, he felt compelled to trust the system's words despite his doubts. He realized that he had no choice but to accept his situation or continue dying in agony. Just then, the monster attacked, but Kaibong managed to dodge the attack. Suddenly, a message appeared, informing him that he had successfully awakened and acquired a skill and ability called Body Enhancement. Kaibong decided to attack the monster in order to complete the quest, as it was the only course of action available to him. As he landed the blow, a message appeared congratulating him on completing the awakening test. As Kaibong shouted in victory, he was met with disappointment as multiple error messages appeared, including one indicating that he was unable to leave the test area due to an unknown error. Suddenly, the awakening test recommenced and the monster reappeared, catching Kaibong off guard and resulting in his death. Kaibong regenerated and shouted in frustration, and he was then killed again. He compared the experience to that of a game, noting that the unknown error was similar to a bug. He felt as though he was a game character, unable to progress due to the bug and stuck in the space. Following Kaibong's death, he was recreated, only to suffer the same fate once more. This cycle repeated itself for weeks, then months, and eventually, a year passed by. During this time, Kaibong's mind began to deteriorate. Despite his body being regenerated, his mind was slowly being worn away, leaving him in a state of despair. The message then appeared, informing that his health stat had increased due to continuous attacks on his body and the backup data would be adjusted. Kaibong, however, was not interested and asked if the error had been adjusted. The system replied that the error had not been fixed and he could not escape the place forever. Kaibong was repeatedly killed and regenerated over the course of 2, 3, and eventually 4 years. He had tried running away and resisting the test monster, which led to a significant increase in his stats. However, Kaibong eventually gave up fighting as he remembered the words from the first day. After 10 years, he asked the system about the state of the world outside. The system replied that not much had changed and that time in this dimension passed 300 times faster than in his world, with 10 years here only amounting to 12 days in his own world. Kaibong remembered his mother's message and thought that he needed to buy her some chicken. He was then killed again by the monster. After 500 years of being killed and regenerated, Kaibong sat lifelessly, with his memories fading away. He could hardly recall his family, friends, or even his own identity and was left with a single question that consumed his thoughts. Why? As Kaibong repeated the question of why, the test monster attacked him once again. However, this time he easily deflected the monster's attack, fueled by his rage. Despite the idea of fairness and the promise of awakening, Kaibong didn't care about any of that. His only concern was why he was the only one with this error. All he had ever wanted was to live a life filled with excitement and enjoyment, and he directed all his anger and fury towards the test monster. 10 years had passed since humanity's awakening day. A crack appeared in the sky. An error message states that the server is experiencing significant damage due to the destruction of its firewall. After breaking through the crack with his fists, Kaibong emerged as the test monster inside had already perished. Kaibong's awakening test lasted for 3,000 years, during which he was able to reach the maximum level for all of his stats. The system encountered an error and could not connect to the main system. It initiated offline self-synchronization. Kaibong, who had been thinking about returning to reality for 3,000 years, asked the system where his mother was located. However, the system was unable to locate her, as the function was not available in offline mode. Kaibong sighed and decided to go home for now. Kaibong arrived at his house but was shocked to see that it was now in ruins. 2 soldiers arrived and told him that the area was now restricted to civilians and advised him to go to a safe zone. Curious, Kaibong asked the soldiers what had happened to his neighborhood. One of the soldiers replied in a surprised tone, asking if Kaibong had been living under a rock, and explained that it was due to the dungeon break that happened 10 years ago. Kaibong thought that the cause of the ruins might have been related to the monsters he saw before entering the test. He asked the soldier about the fate of the people who lived in the buildings. The soldier replied that everyone had died, leaving Kaibong in shock. However, the soldier added that the residents who were outside their homes at the time of the incident were evacuated to a safe zone by the government. The soldier suggested that Kaibong should head there if he was looking for someone. Kaibong grabbed the soldier and inquired about the location, to which the soldier responded that it was situated in Moontown, B-Zone. Kaibong wasted no time and hurried to the location. Later, the 2 soldiers overheard through the radio that a dungeon break had been detected, and it was estimated to be in the migrant community sector of B-Zone's Moontown. In the migrant community sector, preparations were underway for a dungeon break. As soldiers and Lieutenant Colonel Oh Hyun-kyun arrived on the scene, Hyun-kyun ordered his troops to secure the area and request reinforcements, as they could not stop the break on their own. He expressed frustration that the forces from the guild were running late, believing they were being lazy and using the situation to ask for more funds. First Lieutenant Lee Jun asked for guidance on what to do, and Hyun-kyun ordered them to build a defense line and deal with small monsters first, intercepting the medium and large class monsters when reinforcements arrived. Jun expressed concern about civilian casualties, but Hyun-kyun believed that if the monsters escaped to other areas, everyone would be at risk. Kaibong arrived in the area and was surprised to see soldiers present. He asked the system what was happening and learned that a dungeon break was about to occur in B-Zone in 3 minutes. Remembering what happened during the last break, Kaibong feared for his mother's safety and tried to enter the area. However, soldiers stopped him and informed him of the imminent danger, ordering him to head to a safe zone. The soldiers who stopped Kaibong were overwhelmed by his powerful aura and fell to the ground. Hyun-kyun witnessed this and ordered his troops to stop Kaibong. The soldiers then surrounded Kaibong at gunpoint, but he used his power to force them to step aside. Jun scolded the soldiers for allowing a civilian to enter the area, but one soldier recognized Kaibong as a player. The crack in the sky signaled the beginning of the dungeon break as monsters started pouring out, causing the soldiers to lose hope. Jun followed Kaibong as he walked, and the system informed him that it was a 5-star ranked dungeon break. Kaibong was furious at the thought of the dungeons and monsters. As a monster attacked him, Kaibong swiftly killed it, then caught another monster's tentacles and slammed it to the ground before finishing it off by stomping on its head. More monsters kept appearing, but Kaibong continued to destroy them. Meanwhile, Jun searched for him and found Kaibong surrounded by a pile of monster corpses, stunned that he single-handedly stopped a 5-star dungeon break. The boss monster emerged, and upon seeing its minion slain, it grew furious. The system informed Kaibong that the dungeon break would only end once it was defeated. Kaibong bravely advanced towards the monster, while Jun, overcome with fear, fell to her knees. However, she quickly noticed the survivors and urged them to flee to safety. As the civilians ran, a little girl stumbled and fell, prompting a nearby monster to attack her and her mother. Fortunately, Kaibong arrived and rescued them. Afterward, Kaibong commanded the system to locate his mother, but after some time, the system was unable to find her. Kaibong recalled his family, whom he had thought of repeatedly for 3,000 years to avoid forgetting them. However, now his memories of them were becoming hazy. The boss launched an assault, unleashing a barrage of projectiles at Kaibong. In response, Kaibong activated his body enhancement skill, allowing him to defuse the attacks and charge towards the boss. He recalled his mother's messages as he deflected more incoming projectiles, impressing June with his abilities as he redirected the boss's attacks away from the nearby town. Suddenly, the boss fired a powerful beam, but Kaibong met it head-on with a punch that destroyed the boss. June was stunned by Kaibong's incredible feat. He deactivated his skill. Just then, someone called out Kaibong's name, causing him to turn around. Overcome with emotions that had been suppressed for the past 3,000 years, Kaibong felt as if a dam had burst inside him, unleashing a flood of feelings. His mother appeared before him, and he rushed towards her, embracing her tightly as they both wept. His mother cried out, asking where he had been, while Kaibong apologized for not being able to bring her any chicken. However, their reunion was abruptly interrupted when a surviving monster attacked Kaibong's mother. Like and subscribe if you want me to continue the next chapters, and thank you for watching.